that if we do ourselves, that can compromise that circle. Can anybody give me an answer or think how they know it?
Is it related to your Danten and then the five bolt energy?
Okay. That's a part of it, but something comes before the five bowls to help keep that circle. And the five bowls is just how everything unifies, right? The two arms, the two legs. There's an avenue for it to develop. But the circle doesn't come from the five bowls. Something else precedes that to make sure that the five bowls can do its job. But you're in the right direction, Bob. So that's pretty good too. But something more specific that helps you to maintain that circle. Because when you go like this, are you hitting a corner? When you go like that, are you hitting another corner? Because in the practice of IST, internal system, there's no corners. You get to a corner, now you stop the momentum. Everything's a circle so that it can rebound, it can keep moving. And this fluidity is all about that. It's all about fluidity in Tai Chi. There's no corners. When it gets to a corner, then your mind gets about, oh, I got caught. And then from there, you got to figure out what to do. Now you start thinking, you get caught again because you start to overthink. So we always want to keep this circle that can allow for rebounding energy, that can allow for looping, that can allow for when you come into me, you have 2 degrees. I got 358. I can still move in a circle to neutralize without having type of grabbing without. So this circle plays very important, and understanding it in quad agility routing, then you'll understand it in rotational routing. You'll understand it in ankle routing and so forth and so on. But that's in the right direction, Bob. Anybody else? Where's the circle in the quad agility routing?
I don't know if
I'll
it's. Oh, sorry.
So, Roger?
take a stab at it. It seems the source of the circle is at the ball joint of the leg, where the hip rotates on the ball joint. You get arcs in different directions.
Okay. Definitely in the right direction. Of course, you have a circle in the rolling 8 ball. And if the rolling 8 ball is not a circle, then it becomes a block. A block, then you're moving through like a posture, right? Because in the form, you learn postures. Then postures become connected as a fluid action. That's how you improve in Tai Chi practice. That you don't do one movement and stop and do a next movement. You have fluidity. And that fluidity is part of the rolling 8 ball. But where does the rolling 8 ball get its source to be rolling?
So I don't know the answer, but I can try to tell you how I do it.
Okay.
So first, when the arm up, I sing to bring the arm down. Then the rebound, that would be bring the arm back up, and then I sing it down, bring it down. So the circle to me is seen on in the moving arm. But when I sing, I smooth out the edges so it makes the circle complete, and it's not hit. Even when it comes down like this, I'm already down before I go like this. Then it's the gravity is already down before anything.
Okay. So your answer is partially right. It is right. You have to sink to find that circle. But once you sync, what does it activate to get to that circle? So you're in the right direction. Bob mentioned the 5 bowls, which place the energy to come together, and what you're talking about, syncing and Roger and the rolling 8 ball, they all play a role. But it's true, you have to sync to find that internal circle. But once you sync, where does it activate to get to that circle, to allow it to happen? Because everything emanates from that. Without that circle, it doesn't emanate into the rolling 8 ball, what Roger mentioned. Without that circle, it doesn't emanate to the 5 bowls, what Bob mentioned. But you said syncing, that's very good. That's part of the answer. But when you sync, and that's song, right? Syncing is song is releasing. They're all the same, just use another vocabulary word. But once you have syncing, where does it activate? Dana, you want to say something? See you rocking back and forth. Do you have a rocking chair?
So to connect to the yellow to the commander and the choir.
That's what Roger said, the rolling 8 ball, the commander. Yeah, but that's a result of something else happening before you have the rolling commander.
Yeah, because when I first doing it, there's a lot of corner that's like a lot of corner.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Does anyone give another try? And all the answers you're giving is all IST, and it's still good. It's in the right direction. But let's get to the more specific. Because when I'm doing the form, yes, I'm doing the 5 bowls. Yes, I'm doing a rolling 8 ball, what Roger said. And absolutely, I'm definitely syncing. But once I sync, it takes me to another area so I can maintain that circle. So I'm giving you a hint. I maintain that circle to keep it rounded. See, my arms can do this, but I'm still a circle because it doesn't emanate from the arm. My arm is not independently doing this. Something else is causing this to happen. It is the rolling 8 ball that guides it there. But what guides the rolling 8 ball?
I think you're referring to the answer. I think this confusion is the circle, physical hip joint, or the energetic circle. So I think you're talking about the energetic momentum, energy that keeps going.
Well,
and you've been talking about how when we're finishing the sinking cycle, the next rebound is already happening. That leads to the next move. So I'm thinking there's something about the opposite starting to complete that circle. I think
so we're talking about elongation.
Right.
That's a result of something else happening before you can elongate. You're elongating. Of course, you have to elongate because when you're going up, you're already going down. When you're going down,
right.
Because there's a connection of energy.
Right.
Which is everything is correct. Everything everybody said is correct, but I want more specifically what can get to that place that you can maintain the circle. And we gave partial answer, which is you have to sync. But then when you're syncing, it takes you to another place that can help you to maintain that circle. Because in 2-person drills, you're trying to come after my center, which is important because that's how we develop. You're helping me with your energy. But when you give me energy, Mary, I need to take it somewhere. And where do I take it to help keep that circle? Because if I don't take it somewhere, it's going to get caught at the point of contact. We know that from doing 2-person.
Well, if it goes, when you're sinking it into the root, your internal space.
Yes, I am sinking into the root. It goes there, but it goes there because of this other answer I want you guys to tell me.
Well, I don't know.
It's the 5 R's.
Yes. The 5 R's happen because of having this. Because you have syncing, yes, you have the 5 R's. But the syncing can only work is when you have this other element, this other important component, this principle of how it emanates. Because yes, I always want to use my rolling 8-ball. I always want to keep the 5 bowls. Like Mary said, I always want to root. I want to keep that elongation. And we said syncing. Yes, I have to sync to do all those things. But when I sing, I have one other thing that is happening all the time. And for me, in my experience, it lays the foundation of how I do it. Because when I do the form, it's being activated. When I do Song Gong, it's definitely there. When I do Tai Chi walking, it has to be there. And because of it, it develops more and more. I always go back to that point, that principle, when I'm figuring everything else out.
Does it have to do with the mind stillness?
That's part of it, yes. Now, what do I say? See, you're getting close now. Yes, we have the syncing, and we definitely have the stillness to do everything that you guys mentioned. And I've always said, in stillness, you're in the present moment. That's one of the answers, but it goes into another part. Even when you have syncing, now the stillness starts to become more involved. It becomes a part, it has to be a part of the equation. Now you have a clear mind. When you have a clear mind, you're in the present moment. Then you start to connect internally of what's happening. What do I always say that when you have a clear mind and you have syncing song, what else do you have? Does anybody remember? I talk about it all the time.
I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but every time I remember you always said that at every point there's a circle. So if you get to any point, you can create a circle there. I don't know if that's related.
Yes. Yeah, and your answer is right. But to create a circle in that point, you need something else to have to feel that point is a circle. Because when you touch me, it's not a corner because I have this other element involved. I say all the time, when you have stillness, you have a clear mind, and then you have something else that leads to your Yongqun. What do I say in them? What's that other part of the equation I say? Now, this is Jeopardy. You guys can win a lot of stuff, right? Okay, I'm gonna give you the answer. Okay, if and again, when I say it, it's nothing that I have not said. It's just bringing an awareness, a heightened understanding of how important that is. It's your zhong. See, your zhong. See, when I feel my zhong, it's the circle. See, when I'm doing this, the arm is not doing it. It's my internal that's spiraling. See, when you have song, your jing sha lai will be very comfortable. You're not rattled. See, when you try to move me any different way, I'm not rattled. See, I can do the circle energy on my waist, and you can come into me. I'm not rattled because it's emanating from my zhongding. So we did a drill yesterday. I didn't do it last night, where I do this movement here, right? This circle energy. And I was talking about it in the Friday morning class. I should have talked about it at nighttime, but I didn't. See, I can do this movement. And then Paul, right? Paul being, very experienced, he would come into my arms and I would still be there. I would not lose my balance. So the point that I was making in the Friday morning class is that when I'm doing something as mundane, simple as this, it's emanating from my zhongding. I feel the balance in my yongqun at all times. So when Paul came into me with both arms coming directly at my arms, I'm still able to stand in that same position. And I'm not resisting. I'm not running away. I welcome Paul's energy. And that's an example of how the zhongding happens. Because with that incoming force, I'm already in a circle. I can take it somewhere and rebound it and still stay there. And of course, when I did it to Paul and everybody else in class, they will all go back. because that's just an illustration of how energy works. See, when I'm doing this, it's not a line. It's from my zhong that's spiraling that allows it to do this, and come down and come around. And the more you feel your zhong, and it gets into my topic for today, but